Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Hi there. Good morning. It is Tuesday, June 14th.
We'll be checking in with Justin in just a minute about the extreme heat. But for now, let's look at today's 9 at 9.
New information about the deadly school shooting in Uvalde reveals that at any given time, 2 to 13 DPS troopers were inside Robb Elementary as the gunman killed 19 students and 2 teachers. The DPS director says he regrets, quote, standing down, end quote.
Texas Senator John Cornyn, the lead Republican negotiator on gun legislation, says he expects a gun safety bill on the Senate floor by next week. A bipartisan group of senators racing to finalize the most significant gun restrictions in decades. The White House says with bipartisan support, there is no excuse for delay.
An armed man was shot and killed by police in the Dallas area Monday after the man fired shots at a gym where about 150 kids were attending a day camp. No children or staff were injured. This all happened in Duncanville, which is southwest of Dallas.
In its second hearing, the January 6th committee narrowed its focus onto former President Trump. The committee sought to prove Trump falsely claimed the 2020 election was stolen from him while knowing he had lost the election using firsthand accounts from his inner circle. The committee alleges those unfounded claims eventually laid the groundwork for the Capitol attack.
Inflation taking a bite out of American savings accounts. A new survey shows that 67% of Americans are rating their savings to cover rising costs. Another sign of potential problems, credit card debt is seeing a resurgence.
On Wall Street, key recession indicators are flashing warning signs. The S&P 500, the index tied to most 401ks, officially entered bear market territory yesterday. The Dow closed down 2.8%. The Nasdaq, having the worst day of the three, down 4.7%.
The Federal Reserve could be ready to drop its slow and steady approach when raising interest rates. They're starting a 2-day meeting today, and some economists predict the Fed could increase rates by 0.75 of a point tomorrow, which would be the steepest rate hike since 1994.
Millions of Americans are on alert for extreme weather, from dangerous heat to damaging storms. Yellowstone National Park closed after heavy rainfall triggered flooding and rock slides. In Montana, rushing water washed away a bridge. Meanwhile, more than 100 million Americans facing a heat wave, and hot and dry conditions are fueling a wildfire in Arizona.
More baby formula is coming to the U.S. 9 flights scheduled to land this week. In total, the equivalent of nearly 4 million 8-ounce bottles of infant formula will be coming to the U.S. in the coming days. And that's today's 9 at 9. And just about 30 minutes ago, we learned that the scheduled January 6th committee hearing that was scheduled for tomorrow morning has been postponed. A reason wasn't given, but we will continue to check for the latest information. And as of right now, the next hearing will be on Thursday, and that's supposed to happen around noon. Let's go outside now with live cam right now. Already up to 80 degrees. The morning clouds kind of hanging around. And Justin this morning has been talking about the potential for a small chance at a shower or two.
Yeah, it is there. I think that shows up sometime tomorrow. In the meantime, we're still going to deal with some heat today, but because the cloud cover is hanging around, because we have some high clouds out there, I've lowered temperatures just a little bit today. Every little bit helps, I suppose. Yesterday, we were up above 100, 101. We tied another record. 13 days so far this year of 100 degrees or more. So we keep the tally going, and we are well on our way to setting some records, I think, this summer. Here's what we're watching. Water vapor imagery shows a swirl in the atmosphere as you get down towards Mexico. This disturbance will work its way up into Texas, and that is what I'm hoping brings us a few showers tomorrow. Temperatures at this hour, 80 degrees in San Antonio, 78 Kerrville, mostly 80s here around town. You'll see these temperatures jump up a little bit more in the coming hours. 90 degrees noontime. Look for mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies this afternoon, but we've lowered those temperatures just a little bit. We're going to go 98, under 100 later today with southerly winds anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour. That small rain chance again shows up tomorrow. We've also got some more Saharan dust headed our way. Update on that in just a few minutes, but we'll go over to Stephen now with an update on our traffic.
Well, we have some troubles out on the roadway, Justin. Thanks. Let's get a look at TransGuide 35 at O'Connor. Not a place I'd want to be right now, but unfortunately, we do know some people have to make their way through there. This is in the southbound lanes. What we're looking at is a crash on the far right lane. And you can see those first responders out there right now where we have part of that right lane blocked off. But you can see 3 lanes are still getting through at this hour, but traffic is moving pretty slowly through that area. Like to say it all the time, 35 is one of those major gateways into the area. So we know people are making their way in perhaps from Selma or New Braunfels, but you can see that stretch of red that has been building for a little while now. So not looking good, but we have been looking at those alternative routes. Quick heads up, if you are traveling in from New Braunfels or 35, exit Retama Parkway if you can a little bit earlier and get on to Lookout Parkway or get onto Lookout Road. What you'll do is continue to take Lookout until you hit Weidner. You'll then get onto 35, but keep in mind you'll likely hit a few stoplights, but it beats sitting in that traffic that we saw on TransGuide. So we'll continue to look at those alternative routes, but unfortunately adding another crash to that list, this time over here on the south side of San Antonio. Loop 410, those eastbound lanes near Roosevelt have been blocked off, at least one lane blocked off as first responders are clearing a crash scene. But other than that, looks like things look normal. Still have a few active construction spots, but other than that, we're going to keep our eyes here at 35 at O'Connor. Hopefully have a better update here on GMSA at 9. Guys.
Stephen, thank you very much. Top stories we're following today: a deadly house fire on the city's north side.
San Antonio fire officials say they were able to put out the fire quickly, but they were not able to save a woman and her 2 pets.
The fire happened around 4 this morning on Rio Vista Drive near San Pedro and Jackson Keller. According to SAFD, the investigators believe the fire was caused by a portable air conditioning unit that was plugged into an extension cord that stretched underneath a bed.
They believe the woman lived alone and say she was found in a different room.
San Antonio police believe speed was a factor in a deadly crash overnight. It happened around 2:30 this morning near Churchill High School on Patricia Drive.
According to police, the man hit the median with his truck, causing him to lose control and crash into a pole. Firefighters tried to rescue him, but he died at the scene. No other vehicles or people were involved in this crash.
Another driver killed in a crash late last night. Investigators believe speed was a factor in this one, too. A sergeant on scene told us the crash happened just before midnight on South Presa, just north of Loop 410.
Similar situation in this case. Police say the driver hit the center median and lost control of his car and ended up wrapping his vehicle around a pole. The driver was ejected from the car and died at the scene.
In your other morning headlines, a ban on the new Buzz Lightyear movie overseas and a terrifying chase and crash.
Plus some amazing news for a Florida teen. However, we start with the latest in the terrifying amusement park death. Max Massey joins us now with what's new this morning.
Hi, Max.
Good morning, guys. So we're going to start with that terrifying amusement park death. It really is, we go to amusement parks and it's any parent's nightmare. It's really anyone's nightmare. Remember, it happened back in March, but we now have new information in the investigation. An autopsy report shows 14-year-old who fell to his death at that Florida amusement park in March. He exceeded the ride's weight limit by nearly 100 pounds. This is what we know this morning. Tyree Sampson was on the Orlando Freefall Drop Tower ride, this at Icon Park. Now, the owner's manual for the tower, it lists the rider's weight limit at 287 pounds. Well, Sampson was 383 pounds. In April, a firm hired by the state of Florida to investigate the death found that adjustments had to be made to Sampson's seat and another one. Now, it also allowed a bigger gap between the harness and the seat. The investigative firm found that the accident was caused by Sampson not being properly secured in the seat, mostly due to, quote, misadjustment of the harness proximity sensor. All right, now to Detroit, where police say there was a shootout between 2 men, ended with a deliberate crash. And as you can see, guys, look at that. It was all caught on camera. So at the top of the left corner of the picture, you'll actually see that red truck deliberately crashing into a white sedan. Now, the car then hits a pole, but the truck rolls and crashes into a building. Now, within seconds, you can actually see people right there climbing out, at least one of them talking with police, saying they were in a shootout. Now, police have recovered 2 guns. They say it started just a few blocks away. Now, not the way they want to end on any busy street, and a lot of innocent people in harm's way.
And we hit the floor, and next thing you know, everybody's the trucks and the brakes, and the trucks are flying upside down. It was crazy.
It's a terrible way of trying to resolve your issues.
So this is a green light Detroit business. It has state-of-the-art surveillance cameras. It's a half block away from the 12th precinct. That's where police were, and they ran over. As for the 2 suspects involved, they are now in police custody. All right, so Disney now facing a new round of censorship in some Middle Eastern nations. So the latest Pixar film, Buzz Lightyear, it is banned in Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, and that's because of a same-sex kiss scene. So yesterday, the UAE announcing on Twitter that the animated film Lightyear is banned from all of the country's theaters. In other nations, they are reportedly following the same suit. Now, the movie tells the origin story of Buzz Lightyear from Pixar's Toy Story franchise, one of my favorite franchises. The UAE's Media Regulatory Office claims that the film violates the country's media content standards. Now, that scene between two cartoon women space rangers that was initially cut by Disney, but Variety says the kiss was actually not reinstated into the movie until just last week.
Yeah, look, it's great that we're a part of something that's making steps forward in the social inclusion capacity, but it's frustrating that there are still places that aren't where they should be.
So obviously, that was Chris Evans. He plays Buzz Lightyear. As for Disney, they have not commented on Variety's report, nor have they responded to the ban. All right, an amazing feat. I'm going to step out of the way. We got to show her off a little bit. A Florida teenager accepted to get this, guys, all 8 Ivy League schools. Plus, that wasn't enough, so he had to go another 7 universities. So he got 15 in total. So in late fall, Ashley Idirica, she applied to every Ivy League university. Just to start, to even apply to an Ivy League school, you got to be feeling pretty good. And she got the best result possible. Then on Ivy Day, the spring day when the prestigious schools all announced their first-year admissions, well, Ashley opened 8 tabs on her computer, one after another. The 17-year-old, get ready, guys, she got into Brown, Columbia, Cornell, Dartmouth, Harvard, Penn, Princeton, and Yale. The Florida teen whose mother emigrated to the United States from Nigeria 30 years ago graduated from Miami Beach Senior High School this month. And what a month. You graduate and then, hey, you get into 15 schools, including 8 Ivies.
All the Ivies. And do you know which one she picked?
Not yet. We're still waiting.
I know.
Wow.
Oh, you know?
I read the end of the story.
Okay, let's hear it. Who is it?
She has decided on
Harvard?
Harvard.
Okay, well,
Good pick. Well, any of those would have been great.
No doubt about it.
That takes a lot of time to apply. It's not just like filling out a little form. That takes a lot of time to apply to these schools.
Well, she treated it kind of like a shotgun blast. She said she just applied at all of them just to see what would happen, not expecting to get a response from all of them.
You got to assume she went 15 for 15.
Oh, man.
Super impressive.
I mean, beyond impressive, that's for sure. Headed to Harvard. All right. Thank you, Max.
Thank you, guys.
9:10, about 80 degrees. Still ahead on GMSA at 9.
And speaking of graduates, we're going to feature a local high school graduate who has proved to be a star in the classroom and in athletics as well, and also in her community. Plus,
coming up next, a look at what you can expect at San Antonio's first Pride River Parade and a sneak peek of the different colorful barges.
This year's Pride Month celebration in San Antonio is offering something it has never had before, a parade and festival on the Riverwalk.
San Antonio's first Pride River Parade was created to promote the city's inclusion, encouragement, and support of the LGBTQ plus community to live openly with equal rights.
Tiffany Huertas joins us live at the marina downtown. We'll look behind the scenes of what we can expect Saturday night. Tiffany, good morning. How many barges will be on display?
Good morning, Mark and Stephanie. So they started with 17 barges in mind, but so many people in our community want to get involved. They're up to 19 barges. And take a look. We're giving you a sneak peek. Check out this barge right here. Colorful. We're seeing all different types of rainbows, stars, and you might see some things like maybe the Tower of the Americas in one of these barges like this one. And we have Maggie and Justin who are really involved in making all of this happen. Good morning, both of you. Talk to us about, Maggie, what can people expect?
Well, this Saturday from noon to 5, we have a festival down at the Arneson La Villita. And it's so fun, entertainment, dancers, singers, some drag show. And then our parade starts at 4 o'clock on the Riverwalk. And we will have one in the downtown area, and then we'll have another one from 7 to 8 over at the Pearl area, the Museum Reach.
This is all about collaboration. Who's involved in all of this?
Oh, such collaboration. Well, Visit San Antonio is about diversity and inclusion. So we have so many groups within the city that have come out to want to join forces and show their support of inclusion and diversity, nonprofits, just regular businesses. So it's been really heartwarming.
And Justin, talk to us about what does this mean for you and for the San Antonio community?
Oh my goodness, this is an opportunity for San Antonio to showcase love and the community and supporting each other along with our allies, and just have an ultimate celebration and just wave a few flags here and there. You know, here you go, Tiffany.
Oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
When people come out on Saturday night and Saturday during the day, what type of feeling should they expect?
Love and full of colors. That's a feeling in and of itself. Fun and love.
And this has been in the works for a long time, right? For a few months, and now it's happening.
Yeah, about half a year. So we're very excited to be able to pull. It's our very first Pride. It's the Bud Light Pride River Parade. So we have never done this before. We're so excited to have our inaugural one this year.
Talk to us about what are we looking at these barges right here?
Well, like you said, we'll have 19, and they'll be colorful and festive and full of fun folks on there that are having fun, dancing. We'll get the crowd going. We have DJs. So it's going to be a really festive parade.
Awesome. Well, this sounds like a lot of fun, and I feel like the whole community is going to come together for this love and unity event, and I bet I'm going to come out too. So I'll see you guys there. Back to you.
Thank you, Tiffany, so much. And I like that part of the parade is actually scheduled for the evening hours, so it'll be a little cooler for participants. Not as bad as the middle of the afternoon.
Actually, a little more bearable for sure. Justin joins us now, and you know, we've been talking a lot about the water levels around here, but just rapidly continuing to decline.
Yeah, it's not pretty. A lot of the rivers, the area rivers, the lakes, we're just seeing the water and the water table all come down. I want to show you a picture on our KSAT Connect. This is near Sisterdale. That is very low, and you can see the flow is just not there. That's not the Guadalupe that we all know and love. So that's just the situation we're in. We desperately need some rain. We've got some small rain chances in the forecast tomorrow, and thank you, by the way, for submitting that picture. And that's going to come in the form of some really light showers. I think tomorrow afternoon, it's not going to amount to much, so this is not going to really help us all that much, but at least there is something in the forecast. You see some of the cloud cover we have moving through this morning, some high clouds. We've had a few morning low clouds. Those are starting to shift out, so we are seeing more sun. But some of those clouds that have been drifting in are courtesy of this area of low pressure we've been showing you throughout the morning on water vapor. We can see it very clearly here. And as it drifts north over the next couple of days, and I think mainly tonight into tomorrow, we could see, again, a couple of those showers developing. Let's look at the forecast here. So this is one of our computer models, and this takes us into 8 p.m. tonight. You see some of the activity out west. Nothing for us, just a few clouds off and on. But as we get into tomorrow morning, few very light showers out west. I think the best chance will be west of San Antonio, and that chance is only 10%. As we get into tomorrow afternoon, same story, a couple of light showers for those west of San Antonio. The reason that we're still not seeing a lot when it comes to rain is because of our ridge of high pressure, which has settled in now over parts of Mississippi and Tennessee. There was some severe weather on the north side of that yesterday. This high pressure starts to build back in a little bit as we get into Thursday, so we crank up the heat a little bit more. And then as we get into Friday and Saturday, drifts north just enough to allow a little disturbance sneak underneath. That will be enough for another 10% chance of rain Friday into Saturday. Small chances yet again. Most of us stay dry. It'll be very light. There's not a lot there, but at least we, again, can put that in the forecast. As we go outside for you, we've got partly cloudy skies and 81 degrees at the airport, 80 at Stinson, 80 at Kelly, 80 at Randolph, and a good south-southeasterly breeze anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour. 83 in New Braunfels, 79 Kerrville, 75 Rock Springs, 80 right now in Uvalde. And temperatures right around 80 for the most part here in Bexar County. We have had some gusty winds last couple days. We're going to see some more gusts today, anywhere from 25 to 30 miles per hour. So be aware that it is going to be another somewhat breezy to windy day. 87 degrees at 11 o'clock, 90 noontime. We'll go mostly sunny to partly cloudy this afternoon. But because we have just that little extra cloud cover, we're going to lower temperatures down below 100 degrees. We'll go 98 today, which I know is still hot, but better than the triple digits. More clouds this evening, and then again we'll add in those small rain chances tomorrow. Meantime, in the tropics, little area down here that we're watching, Hurricane Center is watching, still very disorganized, but it's kind of the same ideas we were talking about yesterday. Just chances are a little higher of development, 40%. Hurricane Center thinks, as this area of disturbed weather moves north. Now, down the line, looks like high pressure is going to keep most of the moisture from this south of us. So we don't really get any benefits from it. 99 Wednesday, 101 Thursday, 100 Friday. We are going to see some thicker Saharan dust, I think, Thursday and Friday, so heads up there. And we talked about those small rain chances Friday and Saturday. Otherwise, still hot. We've still got triple digits back in the forecast as we head into the weekend, guys.
They're back, but they're not, as high as they were this past weekend.
And no Sunday numbers, none of that 105 mess that we had to deal with. That's true.
True. We'll take it. Thanks, Justin.
Yep. 921, about 81 degrees.
And coming up next, our Great Graduate Series continues featuring a recent high school grad from Southside High School.
(924) on your Tuesday morning. Born in Mexico, growing up in California, moving to Texas during the pandemic, and now stepping up and helping our community in a time of need.
In today's Great Graduate segment, Max Massey introduces us to Estrella Garcia Morales from Southside ISD.
Just someone who makes my family proud, someone who makes me proud, someone successful, someone happy.
Meet Estrella, a star in athletics, the classroom, and in the community. Literally a star.
Estrella is a star. That is her name, and translated to me, she is a star. And whoever decided to choose that name for her is specifically what she represents. She is a star in everything she does, sports, academic, and just generally a wholesome person.
She was born in Mexico with her first language being Spanish. Neither of her parents spoke English growing up, so she and her siblings taught her parents English. And on the weekends, here in San Antonio, she helps out the San Antonio Food Bank.
I heard Ms. Arredondo saying, we need helpers, we need people who need to be there, and I was like, I got it. I participated. I was like, I'll show up.
Estrella thrives in the classroom, in athletics, and in the community, and those closest to her, they call her a go-getter.
She will be a person that will go out in the community and make a difference. She is bilingual, she is bicultural, she is biliterate.
Estrella has a message for anyone out there who may be facing adversity.
Just anything is possible. Whatever you think you can do, you can obviously do it. You can do way more than that.
Next up, she is set to start studying at Texas A&M San Antonio.
Very impressive. Congrats. Time now, 9:26 and 81 degrees for now.
We're ahead on GMSA at 9, including a breakdown of Game 5 of the NBA Finals. Max is going to join us and bring back RJ with some highlights and their predictions for Game 6.
However, before that, we are raising awareness about post-traumatic stress disorder and the importance of recognizing the signs. After the break, we're going to be joined by a doctor from UT Health to talk about that topic.
Just about 9:30. Welcome back to GMSA at 9. June is PTSD Awareness Month, and since we are Military City, USA, and with recent tragic events in Uvalde and around our country, we thought it was important to continue the discussion about post-traumatic stress disorder.
Joining us this morning is Dr. Alan Peterson from UT Health San Antonio. He's a professor for the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences. Good morning, Dr. Peterson.
Morning.
Thank you for being with us, Dr. Peterson. Give us a refresher. What is PTSD and how does it affect someone?
PTSD, it's post-traumatic stress disorder, and basically it results from someone's exposure to a traumatic event. That could be a life-threatening event, a horrible event like being in combat, and also individuals obviously involved in the shooting at Uvalde a couple of weeks ago would be another example of exposure to a traumatic event.
And speaking of that exposure to, recent tragic events, that could trigger PTSD as well.
Absolutely. For the most part, people need to have direct exposure to an event. So obviously, teachers, school members, parents, first responders, police are all individuals who were exposed to the events that took place there. People watching it on television, it obviously can be very distressing as well, but it's not likely that individuals who are just observing news reports and whatnot will develop PTSD from that.
And it's not necessarily immediate either. I mean, it can be can PTSD be on somewhat of a delayed fuse, Dr. Peterson? And how do we help somebody that has PTSD?
Yes, officially, PTSD really should not be diagnosed, can't be diagnosed until it's at least a month after the traumatic event. So prior to that, the first couple of days is called acute stress reaction and then potentially acute stress disorder. For communities, really the best thing that individuals can do is to provide social support. That's from a spouse, a teacher, a family member, an employer, Social support is the biggest predictor of individuals that will naturally recover after exposure to a traumatic event. So that's the most important thing to begin with, is just to try to seek out support from your friends and family.
And speaking of that support, we understand that UT Health Science Center has a program that focuses on this condition. Tell us about Strong Star and what the program is doing to help our military community.
Strong Star is a nationwide research and clinical program located at the University of Texas Health Science Center here in San Antonio. We've been around since 2006. Currently, some of the programs we have are focused on couples in which one of the individuals is a veteran and has post-traumatic stress disorder. So it's a couples retreat that focuses on not only post-traumatic stress disorder, but helping enhance relationship functioning. That's a 2-day retreat. There's no cost for participating in the program. It's funded by the Texas Veterans and Family Alliance. So we do we put individuals up in a hotel for a couple of days and do a very intensive treatment program for them.
All right, Dr. Alan Peterson from UT Health, thank you for joining us discussing PTSD. We'd like to keep this conversation going throughout the month of June.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Peterson.
Bye.
Taking a look outside with live cam, we are at 81 degrees. I mean, started in the 70s, slowly creeping up there.
Yeah, it's creeping up a little slower than yesterday because we've got some of the cloud cover in place. So that is helping some. Pollen count is in, molds are low. That's all we have. But you should also keep in mind there is some of that Saharan dust still sticking around. That does cause some sinus issues for people. And we're going to see a thicker cloud of that dust, I think, on Thursday. So while the mold numbers and most of the pollen count is going to stay low, that is something to just keep in the back of your mind there. 79 Bandera, the heat index right now is 82. Feels like 85 at the airport. When you factor in that thick humidity this morning, Converse, it feels like 87. Same story there in Seguin, 89. Feels like number in New Braunfels this morning. Your KSAT 12-hour forecast. We'll get some clouds early, and we may see some partly cloudy skies even this afternoon. Temperatures only make it up to about 98. I say only because we've been in the triple digits for so many days so far this month. Winds will be gusty out of the south, anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour. And expect a slow cool down this evening. And we'll start to bring in a few rain chances by tonight and into tomorrow morning. So here's what's ahead. We are expecting more clouds, windy conditions today. Saharan dust, I just mentioned, thicker round of dust heads our way Thursday. And then that small rain chance tomorrow. It's nothing to get really excited about because the chance is 10%. But I do think we could see a couple showers popping up on radar. And we'll explain a little more about that coming up in just a couple minutes.
Justin, thank you. Right now, we want to tell you that the incident earlier at 35 in O'Connor here is cleared earlier. We're also seeing some big slowdowns right now, but they are pretty much routine. Inbound I-10 near Callahan, and then quite a bit of traffic in the normal construction zones out there on 1604 on the far north and northwest side right now.
And the Warriors are one win away from another title.
Heck of a game. Golden State beats Boston last night, take a 3-2 series lead in the finals. Max is back now with RJ to break the game down.
Woo, here we go.
I have a couple gripes. I'm starting off hot. First off, there is no need to start these games so late. It is 8 o'clock on a Monday night. I understand we have to wake up a little earlier than most people, but 8 o'clock on a Monday night, come on.
West Coast, 6 o'clock.
Well, I was going to say, people in the Bay Area are like, perfect timing.
Here's the thing, though. As much as
they need to get off of work and go to these games.
I want to see the content distribution of who's watching games. I have an inkling it's more Texas and East Coast.
Yeah, I think
that's
a little bit earlier
East Coast
start.
For Celtics fans.
Yeah, and this is even after the pregame show and everything. So sometimes it even gets a later start. I think 8:15 was the start of last night's game.
I'm well aware. Although it was a fast game, and part of that is because it really wasn't too much scoring.
Would it be weird to run David's soapbox right now?
Any other gripes?
I have a few.
Okay.
I have one with Justin, if we're going to be honest. Justin came out hot yesterday. We didn't get to talk about it.
Yeah.
But Justin came out and said, should we have gotten rid of Derek White? And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
here we go. I'm glad we brought this back up.
We could throw Justin on here so he could try to defend himself. But
it's just a question.
It was a good question. Yeah. So the response is, I love Derek White. I think he's a great player. I think right now, even though he missed 2 crucial threes last night, that's
he played horrible last night. I mean, let's be honest.
He was good on Friday.
He was good on Friday. He was. He's been very up and down.
Perfect role with the Celtics.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have had that role here on the Spurs.
No, definitely not. The Spurs were hoping that he was a 1A, 1B guy to go along with DeJounte Murray. That did not work out. So there is maybe your answer, Justin.
All right, so if we're going to talk about players other than the best 4 in the court, here we go. Draymond Green.
Yeah, Draymond. You know, he's been talking a lot on his podcast, on talking about this whole new media thing that he's got going on. But he did play pretty well in the first half yesterday as the Warriors got out to a nice lead here. They were up by double digits most of the way, but Andrew Wiggins was the guy in this game.
Andrew Wiggins, former first-round overall pick. And then, here we go. Steph Curry couldn't figure it out from deep. I feel like, I think Steph went 0 of 9. I think he broke a streak. He had like 131 consistent games with a 3 that ended last night.
Playoffs,
but here's the thing. They won the game.
No, they did, because they had guys like Andrew Wiggins step up here, talking about some other guys. Klay Thompson had himself a nice game. Jordan Poole had himself a solid game as well. This one by Draymond right here.
Well, because they called it was kind of like a fake RPO, run pass option, where he faked the handoff and just went right to it. But that guy, Jason Tatum, doing what he can, really.
For sure, yeah, for sure. I'm sure Celtics fans have a few gripes of their own with this one here, too. But, yeah, so the Celtics third quarter came out, took the lead over Golden State, but you see this buzzer beater here at the end of the third quarter by Jordan Poole. This basically kind of turned the tide, and then my guy Klay Thompson right there.
He's your guy?
I like Klay Thompson.
I'm a Klay
fan.
guy.
I'm glad he's back. I
empathize with the torn Achilles.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You can definitely empathize with that. Warriors win this game 104-94. 3-2 series lead. And I got to say this. This Golden State team reminds me, I don't want to bring us back to the Spurs, but they do remind me of the Spurs. Aging stars. I mean, Steph's not old, but he's 34 now. And you think about older. Klay Thompson's older. Draymond Green's older. But you think about the Spurs, when they made that secondary run in 2013-14 and the guys were older, they had a mix of younger guys as well. So, yeah, I really, really like this Golden State team.
I love how you see. I used Justin as a way to talk about the Spurs with Derek White. You're just throwing it back to one of the best.
I'm bringing us back to the big 3. There we go. Yeah, and let's go ahead and hear from Andrew Wiggins and Celtics forward Al Horford after this game.
You know, something I've dreamt about for sure. You know, being in the league, and you know, this is the ultimate stage. Doesn't get bigger than this. So I was out there just being aggressive, and you know, it was a good game.
Our backs are against the wall. You know, we have to. This is the time that we look at each other in the eyes, and we got to figure it out. You know, we have an opportunity now, and we got to figure it out. There's no tomorrow for us.
All right, so I do have a question for you.
Okay, here we go.
I'm a big Steph Curry guy. I think he's just a great person.
I like
on and off the court. I love Steph Curry. There's going to be talk this morning after he goes 0 of 9. I'm so in the stance that if the Warriors win, no matter what, he could literally score 4 points over the next 2 games, assuming it's a 7-game series. No matter what, Steph Curry's MVP of the series.
Oh, no matter what.
If they win. If the Warriors
win. Unless Steph just doesn't show up for game 6 or 7 or whatever, then literally not in the building. Not in the building, doesn't show up for game 6 and 7. He's going to win the NBA Finals MVP if Golden State wins this.
If I have the soapbox up, guys. Another gripe I have, going back to
got a lot of gripes this morning.
What was it? It wasn't the 73-9 team. It was the 60-22 team when they won before KD went there, and Andre Iguodala got Finals MVP. I'm a big Andre Iguodala guy. I liked him when he was on the Sixers and the Nuggets. I get it. There is no rhyme or reason why Steph Curry
he should have already won a Finals MVP. This is the only thing that's left on his resume. If Golden State wins this series, Steph has already proven that he is the MVP.
They have to go to Boston first, though.
That's true.
On Thursday. Tough crowd.
Who's winning?
Oh, I got Boston winning game 6 and Golden State winning game 7.
Okay, guys.
And I don't know, because I was supposed to decide by game 5 who I was rooting for in this series.
You said this morning you still didn't know.
I still don't know.
It's still, I really think it's still a toss-up,
I do find, and this is super important, this is probably the most important part of this conversation. Again, Steph, they're just asking you to show up in game 6 or 7, right? So you hear how many times they've mentioned you during this?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'll be there.
Just making it clear. That's a lot of pressure.
Yes.
All right, final prediction?
I mean, what I want or prediction?
Prediction. We'll go prediction.
How you think it's going to go?
Okay, well, Golden State.
Golden State.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. Does that mean you're rooting for the Celtics?
Huh?
Whoa.
Oh, no, I want Golden State to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm, of course, Derek White, but
Celtics still.
Like everybody else, I like Steph Curry.
Producers asking me for a final prediction. Honestly, don't care. I don't care.
This is such a
Not
great
this series.
series.
I don't.
It's been a good
I really don't.
series.
I don't.
Yeah,
Max,
fair.
final prediction?
For the sake of great basketball,
Yes.
Warriors in 7.
Okay.
I got Warriors too. Warriors 7.
Warriors
Yeah.
in 7.
I think
Okay.
Boston wins
All right.
this next game.
Justin, oh, never mind. You're off camera. 9:42 right now. Warriors in 6. Okay.
You're saying they win.
Gotcha. Okay. It's not that I don't care. I don't care.
It's fun.
Okay. 9:42, 81 degrees.
All right. Well, when we come back, some important things for parents to keep in mind as we continue to see 100-degree days.
Welcome back with the record heat we've already seen before summer even officially begins. Local health officials want to make sure parents are keeping a safe eye on their kids and keeping them cool.
They say there are 4 big things to think about during these hot days: time, exposure, sunscreen, and hydration.
Jennifer McKnight is a RN at Children's Hospital of SA and says the best time to let kids play outside first thing in the morning or in the evening. She says it's important to monitor how much sun children are exposed to and always have them wear sunscreen.
Even though we're experiencing our hottest temperatures now, sunscreen is really important throughout the year, regardless of the temps, because we do have a lot of sun exposure here in Texas. So you want to be using a broad spectrum UVA, UVB sunscreen with an SPF of at least 15. Around 15 to 30 is good for kiddos. And then those little ones that are under 6 months, we really want to be keeping them out of direct sun.
McKnight says even if it's cloudy outside, it's still a good idea to wear sunscreen, and ideally it should be applied 15 to 30 minutes prior to going outside. And it's also important to remember to reapply sunscreen if you're outside for a long period of time.
We want to reapply it every 2 hours, and especially if they've been swimming or sweating a lot, even those sunscreens that say that they're waterproof or for sports, a lot of times when they're in the water, they'll towel off and they're really rubbing off most of the sunscreen.
While the playground might be a great way to let kids run off their energy, remember to check the equipment and make sure it's not too hot. She recommends going to the playground in the morning and then maybe finding something else to do in the afternoons when temperatures are obviously at their highest. And boy, have they been lately.
Yeah, they've been very hot, especially this past weekend. Glad to see lower triple digits, right?
Right. So we had another experience with that Saharan dust as we went into the latter part of the weekend. And now we get another dusting, so to speak.
We do, and I feel like you could really notice it yesterday. You know, there's a haze in the atmosphere. You could kind of see, especially with the sunset, it's just kind of that bright orangey color across the sky. We're going to see another round of this. I think this next round, as we get into Thursday, is going to be pretty thick. So here is our model that shows the dust, and it is fairly thick this morning, but it starts to move out. Notice what happens on Wednesday, though. We start to get this second round, and by the time we get into Thursday, I think we're going to see some pretty thick concentrations here around San Antonio. So if it bothers you in the sense that your sinuses hurt or you have asthma or something like that, this is something to watch. I think the air quality is going to come down a little bit Thursday into Friday before this moves out. And oh, by the way, there's another plume out there in the Caribbean that could make its way towards our area as we get into next week. So it's becoming a little more frequent now, this dust that we often see during the summer, but we'll get some off and on thicker concentrations. As we go outside for you, more clouds this morning. We had the morning low clouds, some high clouds up above that. The more clouds we can get out there, the better our temperatures will be in the afternoon. And right now we're sitting at 81. Dew point is still up there at 71, and a good south-southeasterly breeze at 14, gusting to 22. With that added humidity, it already feels like 90 in New Braunfels. The air temperature is 84, but this yellow number represents the feels like number. And converse, the heat index is up to 86. The airport, it is up to 85. The wind gusts, we mentioned they're pretty stout. The winds out of the south. We're going to see some gusts just like what we're seeing right now, 25 to maybe 30 miles per hour. It's gusting to 30 right now in Curve Up. So another windy day. We saw that yesterday. Some pretty good gusts. I've lowered temperatures just a bit today to 98, and that's because we are seeing added cloud cover today. I think that does help. We were at 101 yesterday, and hopefully we stay below that century mark this afternoon. There still will be a few places that get there, though. Hondo, Uvalde, Carrizo Springs, just to name a few. Satellite picture shows those high clouds, a few of them working through, and then we've got more clouds building behind that. And so we look at water vapor, we got a nice spin in the atmosphere right here over parts of Mexico. My hope is that as this little disturbance lifts north, and the lift with this thing is kind of down here, you can see where some of the rain is. As it lifts north, it'll throw some of that energy in our direction, and maybe that's enough to scare up a shower or two. This is not going to be widespread rain. Most of us stay dry, but at least there is that small chance in the forecast that someone could get a quick shower. Here's how the forecast plays out. Our computer models show that at 9 p.m. tonight, we're seeing most of that activity out west. But as we get into tomorrow, a few showers here and there. We're going to put in a 10% chance. This is tomorrow morning at 9. And then as we get into tomorrow afternoon, 5 o'clock, shows a few more showers out west. If we're going to see showers, I think it's probably San Antonio and points west. But we'll let you know tomorrow what shows up on radar. Again, it probably won't be much. High pressure is still kind of the dominant feature in our forecast, and it shifts back to the west as we get into Thursday. That heats us up again. Then a little disturbance works underneath the ridge that gives us some small opportunities for rain on Friday and Saturday. Like tomorrow, not great chances. Most of us likely stay dry. Very quickly, we have that disturbance out in the Caribbean that we're watching, and a tropical depression out in the Pacific. This goes out over the open ocean, doesn't really have any effect on land. Forecast, 99 tomorrow, 10% chance of rain. That Saharan dust returns Thursday, Friday, some small chances of rain Friday and Saturday. Otherwise, the heat remains the story. More triple digits going into the weekend. We'll be right back. Edwards Aquifer is crucial to our environment and our water supply. With the drought we're currently in, it could certainly use more water. On the latest episode of KSAT Explained, Sarah Spivey and I take you inside an aquifer cave and go in depth, literally, on how the aquifer was formed and how it functions today. If you missed it, you can watch the episode again on KSAT.com. And I'm a little biased, but I highly recommend it.
Sure. You read that like a news anchor champ.
I tried. Thank you. Let's look at the planning forecast for this week. 98 degrees today. We'll see a little bit more cloud cover, so that helps with temperatures. And tomorrow there is that outside chance for a shower. I don't want to get people's hopes up because chances are you're not going to see anything. There's more of those small chances too Friday and Saturday.
You guys ever lost anything on an Uber or Lyft ride?
Thank goodness no.
I've lost something huge. I'll try to.
That's right.
I'll try to give you some. So they've released their annual Lost and Found Index that includes everything from tater tots to grandma's teeth.
Yeah. So the most common items, like most people would think, phones, wallets, keys, and ordinary items carried in your pockets.
Bizarre things include tater tots, caviar, a pet tortoise, and a bucket of slime, to name a few.
Is that a cannoli that I just?
Yeah, probably. So the most forgetful passengers live in Austin, Texas, but Phoenix and Atlanta also made that list.
All right, so here's my story while we're talking about. So I was in London. I left my cell phone in the back of an Uber, and I knew I was in big trouble just at the start of the trip. So I called the front desk and I said, by chance, did an Uber driver drop off itself? And they go, oh yeah, is it blue? The driver had come in and returned it to the hotel front desk. I called the guy and gave him a $50 tip.
Yes, very good tip, and glad you got your phone back.
Lifesaver. Grandma's teeth, I don't know where